Unlock the secret to mastering the art of small talk and teaching others in just 17 minutes. Welcome to the Polymath Podcast, Unleash Your Infinite Curiosity. Today, we're delving into the key insights from the book, The Fine Art of Small Talk by Debra Fine. Let's embark on this journey of knowledge together. Introduction. When Debra Fine was a young girl, she was overweight, shy, and often stayed unnoticed in the back of the class. She first felt excluded when her third-grade classmate, Rita, handed out birthday party invitations. Every girl got an invite except Debra and another overweight girl. This hurt Debra deeply, so she buried herself in books, making them her only friends. As a result, she never learned how to talk to her peers. As she grew up, Debra chose a job that didn't need much talking. She became an engineer. She was good at giving technical presentations and answering complex questions, but felt nervous at conferences or industry meetings where she had to mingle with colleagues, network, and meet clients. She always started conversations with, "What do you do?" but struggled to keep them going. After having 2 children, Debra realized her insecurities were partly due to being overweight. She lost 65 pounds. With a better self-image, Debra wanted to have a social life and fun friends, but she needed better social skills. She started observing and learning from people who were good at making friends and mingling. Eventually, she dedicated herself to mastering the art of small talk and teaching others to overcome their fears and hesitations. The best part? Everyone can learn the techniques and skills for good conversations. When you get better at conversations, your life improves. You'll make new friends and colleagues, enjoy social events, and open up new opportunities. Ready to get better at conversations? Great, let's get started. Chapter 1. Become a better conversationalist by taking a risk. How do you feel about small talk? Many people think small talk is unimportant and a waste of time. However, small talk is actually very important. It helps break the ice, leads to deeper conversations, and builds stronger relationships. The good news is everyone can learn to be good at conversation. When you see people who are good at talking, how do you feel? Maybe you think they are just naturally good at it. The truth is, most people have to practice a lot to become good conversationalists. They learn through practice, seminars, personal coaching, and studying books. For example, Debra Fine used to be a shy, introverted engineer, but became great at conversation by learning and practicing. It's that simple. After the events of 9/11, a pilot asked his passengers at Denver International Airport to introduce themselves and learn about each other. This simple act shows we have lost the art of conversation. But why? We are used to respecting people's space and privacy, so we avoid getting to know the person next to us. The main reason we avoid small talk is our fear of rejection. So, the first step to becoming a better conversationalist is to take the risk of starting a conversation. You can't just wait for others to approach you, you have to make the first move. It's not as hard as you think, and it puts you in control of your own destiny. You get to choose. Start your conversation with a smile. When someone smiles at you, you naturally want to smile back, right? So be the first to smile and greet someone. Smile, say a few words, and make eye contact. In just a few seconds, you'll start to build a connection. If the thought of smiling and saying hello is scary, you can practice. Walk through the mall and say hello to 10 people you pass. You can also do this at the grocery store by greeting 3 other shoppers. Practice until it feels natural. Not introducing yourself can sometimes have serious consequences. Debra learned this lesson at her friend's corporate events. She admired the senior vice president, Bob, who was great at mingling and small talk. But Debra was too scared to introduce herself and stayed to herself. Later, when she moved into sales, she called Bob to sell her company's services. Before she could finish her pitch, Bob cut her off, saying, "I can't believe you're calling me. We've been at the same parties many times and you've ignored me every time. You're the biggest snob I know. I have no interest in buying anything from you." Bob had mistaken Debra's shyness for arrogance, so it's important to make the effort because staying silent is not always good. Chapter 2. The importance of names. Once you've decided to start a conversation, remember this key rule: learn and use the person's name. To get good at this, focus during the introduction and repeat their name, like, "Nice to meet you, Debra." Many people are too busy thinking about their response to remember names. So, Focus on the name first, repeat it, and then think of your reply. If you get distracted and miss the name, just admit it. Say something like, "Excuse me, I didn't catch your name." This is much better than pretending you know it. Never fake it, especially if you've met the person before and forgot their name. Simply say, "I'm sorry, I forgot your name. Please remind me." Being honest prevents awkward situations. Instead of avoiding someone because you forgot their name, take responsibility and tell the truth. This usually leads to a good conversation. Ignoring someone because you forgot their name can seem rude. Sometimes you'll meet people with foreign or unusual names. Make the effort to pronounce their name correctly, even if it means repeating it a few times. Learning someone's name shows you care and makes them feel comfortable. If you don't bother to learn a difficult name, it seems like you don't think they're worth the effort. Learning names has many benefits besides making people feel comfortable. For example, when Debra sat at a table of 8, she introduced herself to the first 3 people there. As others arrived, she continued to introduce herself and made introductions for the rest. This made everyone feel at ease and started warm conversations. Acting as a host can make you a leader in the group. Avoid using nicknames unless the person tells you to. If someone introduces themselves as Michael, don't call them Mike. Use the name they gave you. Finally, it's better to give your name even if you think the other person should remember it. For instance, say, "Hi Patrick, Debra Fine, how are you?" By stating your name, you help Patrick avoid the awkwardness of trying to remember it. Chapter 3. Use icebreakers and open-ended questions. Conversations don't end after introductions. Keeping them going is your job, and though it might seem hard, there are many icebreakers to help conversations flow smoothly. Many people make the mistake of just making a statement like, "What a beautiful day." However, a statement alone may not prompt a response. Statements are indirect ways to start a conversation. Instead, be direct to ensure you engage in dialogue. Instead of saying, "What a beautiful day," try, "What a beautiful day. What's your favorite season?" This shows you want to talk. Many of us worry about starting a conversation because we think it's harder than it is. For example, a national news show once had a man at a party start conversations with the line, "Hi, what's your sign?" Surprisingly, it worked. Showing genuine interest in someone opens them up because they feel valued. This worked because the man asked an open-ended question. Open-ended questions show you care about the other person's thoughts. Often we ask our partner or children, "How was your weekend?" or "How have you been?" These questions usually get simple responses like, "Good, how was yours?" These aren't sincere conversations, so use open-ended questions to be a better conversationalist. Talking to school-age kids can be tough. Parents often ask, "How was your day at school?" and get "fine" in return. Trying again with, "What did you like about today?" might get, "I don't know." But the conversation isn't over. When Debra asks her teenage son, "Tell me about one class you liked today," he might think and say, "Science." Debra can then ask, "What did you like about science?" leading him to talk about an experiment and starting a real conversation. The key is to show you truly care. Similarly, on Mondays, people ask each other, "How was your weekend?" and get, "Good, how was yours?" Many don't actually care about the answer. These questions are just greetings, not real inquiries. Next time, if someone says their weekend was great, reply with, "What was so great about it?" or "Tell me about it." This shows you're genuinely interested. However, you need to judge if an open-ended question is appropriate. For example, if you ask a coworker something personal and they switch back to business, it's a sign they don't want to chat. Respect your colleagues and stick to their preferred topics. Chapter 4. The importance of body language and listening. Now that you've learned how to talk in a conversation, it's time to focus on listening, which is just as important. The problem is, our brains can process more information than one person can share, leading us to get distracted. We might start listening to other conversations, thinking about dinner or daydreaming, causing us to miss important details. Have you ever felt frustrated because someone wasn't listening to you? What made you feel that way? Maybe they were looking away, checking their phone, crossing their arms, or showing signs of disinterest. This is because nonverbal communication is more important than words. Ray Birdwhistle estimated that in a normal conversation, words carry less than 35% of the social meaning, while nonverbal cues make up over 65%. For example, when 8-year-old Nicholas tells his dad about his day at school, his dad is reading the newspaper. Nicholas says, "Dad, you're not listening to me." His dad repeats everything Nicholas said, but Nicholas still feels ignored because his dad wasn't paying full attention. Nicholas wanted his dad to look at him and show he was interested. He wanted to feel connected and valued. That's why being aware of your body language in conversation is important. You might be listening, but if you look away, cross your arms, put your hands on your hips, fiddle with jewelry, or glance around, you seem uninterested. Instead, use positive body language. Lean forward, maintain eye contact, relax your posture, face the person, and nod and smile. These cues show you're engaged and interested. In addition to body language, use verbal cues to show you're listening. Brief comments or open-ended questions work well. For example, saying, I see, while nodding shows you're engaged. To change the topic politely, you can say, "That reminds me of," or ask, "Do you mind if I change the subject?" This keeps the conversation going while showing respect for the speaker. Chapter 5. Avoid awkward pauses and search for cues. Even with icebreakers, conversation starters, and good listening skills, sometimes conversations will still hit awkward pauses. A little preparation can help avoid these silences. You don't need fancy tools, just have a few questions ready in your mind for when things slow down. You might ask about a new movie or a book you recently finished. One of the hardest groups to talk with is acquaintances you see occasionally. You have some history, but don't know what's happened in their life since you last met. This is a good chance to catch up. Instead of asking, "What's new?" which might get a "not much," try asking more specific questions like, "Bring me up to date on what's new with your family," or "What's changed in your life since we last spoke?" This way, you're likely to learn more. However, if they've experienced something tough like losing a job or a loved one, stick to more general questions and let them share details if they want. If you're stuck for conversation starters, look around you. The event location and occasion can provide ideas. At a wedding, you could say, "I was the bride's college roommate. How do you know the couple?" At a seminar or convention, you might ask, "What brought you here?" Observing people can also help. If someone is left-handed, you could ask, "Is it challenging being left-handed? Any pet peeves about it?" Or if they have an accent, you could say, "I hear an accent. Where are you from?" By paying attention to your surroundings and the people, you can find many topics to keep the conversation going. If you find it hard to think of questions, use the acronym FORM: family, occupation, recreation, and miscellaneous. The first three are easy to understand, while miscellaneous can include popular films, books, or news events. The key is to be genuine in your conversations. If you're not truly interested, no amount of planning will save the conversation. Chapter 6. How to exit a conversation with ease. At some point, you need to leave a conversation, whether to escape a dull talk or to mingle more. There are ways to do this gracefully. Many people stay in conversations too long for two reasons. 1. They feel stuck if it's just the two of them, or 2. They are too comfortable to move on. At networking events, it's important to keep meeting new people to get the most out of it. To leave a conversation smoothly, start by revisiting the main topic you discussed. This helps make a meaningful connection before you go. For example, you could say, "Tom, it's been great talking about the changes in healthcare. I need to catch up with another client before she leaves. Thanks for your insights." Notice there's no excuse given for leaving. Honesty is key to a graceful exit. Even if the conversation is unpleasant, leave politely with lines like, "I want to go talk to the speaker. I need to see the exhibits. I want to meet more potential clients this morning." Or, "I promise to meet 3 new people tonight." These lines focus on your goals, making it clear you are leaving for your own reasons, not because of your conversation partner. You can also use a strategy from George Plimpton, who always carried 2 drinks at parties. If he needed to escape, he would say he had to deliver a drink. The main rule is to do what you said. If you said you were going to see the exhibits, go there. If Vince stops you on the way, say, "Vince, great to see you. I'm heading to the exhibits. Want to join me or catch up later? This prevents the person you left from feeling insulted if they see you not doing what you said. Another graceful exit is to ask your conversation partner for a referral. For instance, if you're talking to Shelley but need to see others, ask her for help. Say, "Shelley, I'm having trouble with a graphics program on my Mac. Do you know anyone here who uses it on a PC?" She might give you a lead or say she doesn't know anyone, allowing you to move on. Thank her, say you need to find help, and say goodbye. Be honest and don't invent problems to leave the conversation. Ending a conversation can be hard, but with practice, you can do it gracefully, leaving a positive impression, making connections, and achieving your networking goals. Chapter 7, Final Summary. Small talk has the power to change your life. With some knowledge and practice, you can become great at conversations. Start by taking the lead and starting conversations. Just a smile and nod can get someone's attention. Then, ask open-ended questions and really care about their answers. Introduce yourself warmly, use positive body language, and have some general questions ready for when there's a pause in the conversation. Small talk is about making the other person feel connected and important, so pay attention to details like their name and use it. When it's time to leave, do it gracefully, and then start talking to someone else. Soon, you'll be an expert at making meaningful connections and using the power of small talk. Last but certainly not least, thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more exciting content. Be sure to explore our exclusive deals and discounts by clicking on the description below.